Hello again, and welcome to another dangerous episode of Forbidden Knowledge. My name is Craig. I'm your host for this show that originates from Ann Arbor, Michigan, by the way, for those of you who are watching this on the internet. This episode will probably be available on the internet because it probably will become a classic episode of mine, something I've been needing to do for a long time. I spoke about the liver and gallbladder cleanse almost a year ago briefly for about 5 minutes, and it generated a lot of interest. And in the alternative health things that I do, the modalities I perform on locations, I find that people keep asking me questions about them when they're related to heart disease, because I have made great improvements in my heart disease situation, and I try to help others. And as an addendum, oh, by the way, the beginning of this show, for those of you just joining, you have to watch some of the other shows to understand why that's so disjointed like that and so black and white and giving you seizures. Okay, you have to go back and see some of the other TV shows that I do so you'll understand what that's about. But my regular viewers understand. This is actually the third time I'm recording this episode because the first time I screwed up had the wrong camera angle. It was basically good audio, but absolutely no visuals of me. It was visuals of a presenter. Second time, something happened on the hard drive. I don't know, the whole show disappeared. And so now here at the third attempt, so it seems like some kind of forces in nature have been preventing me from doing this show. So we will get it done one way or another. But heart disease, I guess I could touch on that right now because as an addendum to episode number 89 that I did, this is episode number 126 right now, but back in December of 08, I did an episode called Heart Disease Solution Research. If you want to Google those letters, if it's on the internet, I'm not sure if it is. I don't put these on the internet, somebody does for me, somebody records them. But I have something to show you in relation to a liver and gallbladder cleanse, and I don't have my prop out here to help aid me in this. At the time, I had assumed that most all the results I got with the improvements of from the heart disease improvement on myself was due to this device called low-level laser. It's a laser device that can shine directly in my eye, a class 1 laser device, okay? For nitric oxide production. I talked about that in great detail on that episode. However, in writing, helping Dr. Larry Lytle write a paper on this for the medical journals, I realized that I was also doing a liver and gallbladder cleanse at the same time. And heart disease comes up in the literature, and I'll show you, but let me show you the results of my test because I want to show you, again, to educate you, especially for my regular viewers who already seen this, but let me put it on presenter here. And what I'm going to show you is this chart. This chart here represents the amount of plaque in the arteries. Okay, this represents the large arteries, small arteries, and the capillaries. These blue bars we like to see in the normal range. This is me about a year previous to this whole test starting. And it's a circulation analysis, so this end of the scale would be bad or low circulation. This end of the scale is high circulation or little plaque, okay? This here represents the flexibility of the arteries. The bigger this little bump here, which we call a dicrotic notch, this little distortion here, the better. So in other words, 3 months later, I tested out to be like this, and you can see the difference, much less plaque and much greater flexibility. And then 3 months after that, continuing, much less plaque and greater flexibility to where now I'm to the point where I can't even test myself on this device anymore. I got flexibility that matches that of a 20-year-old, and the plaque is just as well. I've had very good improvement on it, which I thought at the time was because of nitric oxide production, okay? Well, using the low-level laser, using this device here, okay? But unfortunately, I realized at the time I was doing a liver and gallbladder cleanse at the same time, and that's what I want to talk about today, because in the literature, liver and gallbladder cleanse could have had something to do with it. I believe it was the laser, but after thinking about it, at about the same time, I had started my first liver and gallbladder cleanse. So you could consider that when you're thinking about doing this liver and gallbladder cleanse for helping the heart as well. I'm going to talk about the basic procedure first. You're going to need to get a pencil and paper out, so let me first explain the basic procedure in like a minute. and then we'll get on to the details, all right, of the whole procedure, because it will take me the entire hour to go through this procedure in detail, but you will need to take notes. It's not something you'll be able to remember. Basically, to liver and gallbladder cleanse, you have stones in both your liver and the gallbladder, okay? We want to remove them safely, easily, effectively, without anything you buy in the you don't even have to go to the health food store. You can buy them in the grocery store. So basically the process is you want to flush out your colon first, your bowel. Then you take a concoction to help release the stones from the bile duct from the liver and the gallbladder into the duodenum, which is the first section of small intestine. And then you want to flush your bowel out again. So in other words, you clean yourself out, you flush the stones into the intestine, then you flush the intestine again. Okay, these will all be coming out of the anus. Okay, that's where the stones will all be coming out of. I'm going to try to put this fairly bluntly, but yet to where I can say things on TV that I probably people would normally say on TV. They come out easily, effectively, and without pain. Okay, now I can hear all right away, and all those cleanses, they don't do nothing. Well, yeah, they do. I've got about 400 stones to date out of my system. And unless you think you don't have any stones, well, I'm perfectly healthy in my liver and my gallbladder. Well, no, you have stones in your liver and gallbladder, I'm telling you. Okay, most people get thousands out of their system. All right, I've only got hundreds so far. And I say so far because I might have more to go. Let me make sure my volume level is correct. I treat this show kind of as a live show because I do this all myself. There's nobody in here in the studio with me, and I do this on one take, basically. It's almost like a live show, but today you cannot call in. If you're watching in Ann Arbor in August, you cannot call in because it's not a live show. Okay, the liver and gallbladder cleanse. I'm going to grab a book here, and I'm going to find the page. I know I don't have it marked, but it's near the beginning. Here we go. Symptoms you might have if you have a clogged liver or clogged gallbladder. Now remember, we are not talking about kidney stones in this program. We're not talking about kidney stones. We're talking about liver and gallbladder stones. Kidney stones are very painful when they're passed, although this book and others tell you of safe ways to dissolve basically kidney stones or pass them effectively and safely as well. But we're talking about the liver and gallbladder stones today, not the kidney stones. If you suffer from any of the following symptoms or similar conditions, you most likely have numerous gallstones in your liver and gallbladder. Now, there's a lot of them. There's 2 whole pages here. So to think you don't have any of these, you don't have a problem with this, you are very mistaken. You'll find many things in this that you will know fits you to a T. So here we go. Low appetite, food cravings, digestive disorders, diarrhea, constipation, clay-colored stool, hernia, flatulence, hemorrhoids, dull pain on the right side, difficulty breathing, liver cirrhosis, hepatitis, most infections, high cholesterol, pancreatitis, heart disease, there's the heart disease one, brain disorders, duodenal ulcers, nausea and vomiting, an angry personality, depression, impotence, other sexual problems, prostate diseases, urinary problems, hormonal imbalances, menstrual or menopausal disorders, problems with vision, puffy eyes, any skin disorders, liver spots, especially those on the back of the hand and facial area. And actually, I can show you something here. That's only the first page, folks, but we are done with page 1. If I can do this right on TV, that's not quite live. See right here, liver spots, especially on the facial area, like they said. Okay, so, and I'm hoping those will go away. It doesn't bother me. I don't cover them up with cosmetics or anything, but I did notice them. I have them on each side. That's one of the pinpointed the places in the book where it said that. Next page, dizziness and fainting spells, loss of muscle tone, excessive weight or wasting, strong shoulder and back pain, pain at the top of the shoulder blade and or between the shoulder blades, dark color under the eyes, morbid complexion, tongue that is glossy or coated in white or yellow, scoliosis, gout, frozen shoulder, stiff neck, asthma, headaches and migraines, tooth and gum problems, yellowness of the eyes and skin, scatia, numbness and paralysis of the legs, joint diseases, knee problems, osteoporosis, obesity, chronic fatigue, kidney diseases, cancer, multiple sclerosis and fibromyalgia, Alzheimer's disease, cold extremities, excessive heat and perspiration in the upper part of the body, very greasy hair and hair loss, cuts or wounds that keep bleeding and don't want to heal, difficulty sleeping, insomnia, nightmares, stiffness of joints and muscles, hot and cold flashes, Now that's a very exhaustive list. This is, if you had suffered any of those or similar conditions, you most likely have numerous gallstones in your liver and gallbladder. Shocking? Now what I'm going to be going off of here today, let me see if I can push the right button because this is going to be, I got lots of camera angle. I got 6 camera angles set up here, so I believe it's camera angle 6. Yes, it is. This is what I've been taking today's literature information from by Andreas Moritz, I'm sorry. Again, you'll need pencil and paper in this program today. Liver and Gallbladder Miracle Cleanse or The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. These you can go to order in the bookstore and other books like it. I'm not saying these are the ones to get. There's lots of them to buy. This is the method I used. Okay, that's all. I'm going by what I researched. This method works. Other methods probably work. A lot of them sound very similar. They have different substitutions of methods to do and ingredients to put in. I'm also going to be going over slightly Dr. Hulda Clark's version because a lot of people are familiar with Dr. Hulda Clark. Her name is spelled Hulda and then Clark without an E. And her website, or a website attributed to her, I don't know if it's her website, is drclark.net. So that's like Dr. drclark.net if you want to look that up. There's lots of versions of variations of this liver and gallbladder cleanse. I'm just going over one that worked for me, that I did, and it did work, and other people has worked for. I'm not saying any of them are any better than the others. Check out all of them, check out everything. As I said in the beginning of the program, don't believe anything I hear or say on anything you hear or see on this program. Research it yourself to verify its validity. Let me read a little bit off this the drclark.net site. They're also recommending ornithine. And, okay, this is another thing. I have to see if I can get the right button here. There should be button number 5. Let's see. It is. Parasites. This happens to be a parasite kit amounting mainly to wormwood, black walnut tincture, and cloves. There's other types of kits available. These are small parasites stuck to the colon wall of a human. And this is a close-up of one parasite. Part of the body is outside of the colon wall. The rest is retracted inside. And once discovered, the worm essentially tries to work its way back into the colon wall for safety. Here's some more items, also comprised of cloves, wormwood types of things. There's lots of parasites. Maybe they'd recommend garlic, a heavy-duty garlic. There's lots of different things you could take for this. Now, parasites is one thing that Dr. Hulda Clark's going to be talking about, and but the version I didn't really mention the parasite part. But parasites are more prevalent. Now, some of the film you're going to be seeing now may be a little disturbing to you. You have parasites in your colons. You might have parasites in your skin. Now, some of these visual images may be disturbing, but Dr. Hulda Clark advises that it is necessary to accomplish the parasite cleanse before the liver flush, and, if possible, the kidney cleanse also for best detoxification. Do not be disappointed if the stones you see are not as large and you get no parasites out. Even if you only get a couple of small dozen stones out of your liver, you have achieved a great deal for your liver and your overall health. Now remember, I did not do the parasite cleanse. I'm mentioning it because Dr. Hulda Clark is very well respected in this, and it's obviously good to get parasites out of your body. So I recommend you look at these cleanses too, but that's going to be a whole other television show. Same with the kidney flush and the kidney stones. That's going to be a whole other show. We're concentrating on the liver and gallbladder stones. Okay. Cleansing the liver of gallstones dramatically improves digestion, which is the basis of your whole health. You can expect your allergies to disappear too, more with each cleanse you do. Incredibly, it also eliminates shoulder, upper arm, and upper back pain. You have more energy and an increased sense of well-being. Cleansing the liver bile ducts is the most powerful procedure that you can do to improve your body's health, but it should not be done before the parasite program. And for best results, you should follow the kidney cleanse. Okay, again, I did not do this part of it. I did not follow the Hulda Clark's version. I'm not saying this one might be just as good or might be better. It is the job of the liver to make bile. Let's get on to some little bit of high school health 101 that you may have fallen asleep on. It makes a bile of 1 to 1.5 quarts per day. The liver is full of tubes that deliver the bile to one larger tube, which is the common bile duct. The gallbladder is attached to a common bile duct and acts as a storage reservoir. Eating fat or protein triggers the gallbladder to squeeze itself empty after about 20 minutes, and the stored bile finishes its trip down the common bile duct to the intestine. So in the illustrations that I'm hoping to be showing you right now, you'll see that the main duct goes from the liver past the gallbladder, and it intersects right there at the pancreas, where the pancreas also dumps into the duodenum, which is the first section of the small intestine. The first 10 inches of the small intestine is generally called the duodenum. So that's where the bile passes into, helps aid in digestion, and releases it during large meals, generally in the evening. The liver has over 500 functions. Here we mention a few. The liver stores iron, vitamins, and minerals. The liver makes bile that helps digestion. The liver detoxifies poisonous chemicals. The liver stores fat, carbohydrates, and glucose as an energy reserve. The liver makes blood. The liver makes new proteins. The liver makes clotting factors. The liver is the biggest gland in our body and weighs about 3.3 pounds. It is divided into two lobes, which are respectively divided into many lobules. These lobules are the functioning units of the liver. All right, I won't go into any more physiology of the liver at this point, I don't think. Let me go on to the gallbladder very quickly. Bile, okay, that's the bile. The gallbladder contains about 30 to 50 milliliters of concentrated bile. It is about 5 to 10 times more concentrated than when it is formed in the liver. An adult produces about 800 milliliters of bile a day. Bile is made of water, cholesterol, bile salts, proteins, bilirubin, and fat. Together with the pancreatic juices, it will enable digestion of fats and vitamins in duodenum, as well as the absorption of calcium and iron. The presence of liver stones can impede the flowing of sufficient bile, which in turn will neither allow a sufficient flow of the pancreatic juices. If sufficient absorption fails, the body will take the necessary calcium and iron from the bones. Malabsorption will cause undigested food, which in turn will create a proliferation of bacteria. Okay, that's all from Dr. Hulda Clark's site, or one attributed to her at least. I'm not positive it's her website. Okay, next, we're going to be going over the details now of the liver and gallbladder cleanse. Keep in mind during this time that I am not a doctor. I sometimes play a doctor on TV, but I'm not a doctor. I do alternative modalities in health. If you want to see what those are, you can go to my website, forbiddenknowledge.info. At least that's when this recorded, that was the website. And we're going to be going using these books, the method by he's not a doctor either, Andreas Moritz. But anyway, the information on this site, on this TV program, as I said before, like I always say, research it yourself, because I might be lying to you. Like everybody else lies to you on this TV, I might be lying to you too. So you want to be able to research this to make sure what I'm telling you is true. I've seen many people do this cleanse. Everybody's got some kind of results, sometimes minor, sometimes major, okay? I actually did the cleanse I've done it 11 times so far. I start another one next week. By 11 times, I mean when I was doing on every new moon. We're going to go into details about that. That's when I was aiming to have it done on, because that's when he said it was the best time to do it. And so that's a period of almost like about 10 months that I've been doing it, so I've done the 11 times. But the first 2 times I did it, I got absolutely no stones. And that's fairly common. Okay, so don't be discouraged if you do it a couple times, you don't get any stones. Keep it up, you will get stones, because you do have stones. Believe me, you do have stones. But don't believe this crazy guy, oh yeah, you're doing just fine, your health is just perfect. Yeah, well, die early like the rest of them if you want to. You know, if you depend on a doctor to do all your work for you, when you can do these easily done cleanses at home for little or no money, then fine, you go pop the pills, you get into the national health care system, and you die early like the rest of them. Frankly, I don't really care. I'm trying to help the audience, those who are willing to learn and listen and try to benefit their own bodies themselves instead of depending on somebody else to do their health for them. So I'm sorry to be so blunt, but that's exactly the way I think. I am very open with the way I believe. All right, and my research. Let me back up now to the page that I want, because I do have a bookmarker in here, but it's not in the right spot. Okay, to do the liver and gallbladder cleanse, here's the process. You got to have pencil and paper ready. First of all, here's what you need. If I push the right button the first time, this is all you need. Okay? You don't need this, though. Put that aside. All you really need is apple cider or apple juice. We're talking about each of these ingredients. Epsom salts, grapefruit, grapefruit that you'll be squeezing in a juice, and extra virgin olive oil. Now, all the brands, as you probably have noticed, have been covered up with tape so that I am not accused of advertising anything, because this is public access when it originally aired. So that's all you need. So it's just things you can buy in the grocery store, not even the health food store. You don't have to go to the health food store. Preparation. About 6 days before the cleanse, in other words, 6 days before the new moon in this case, if you want to do it on the new moon, you drink 32 ounces of packaged apple juice per day for a period of 6 days. So 32 ounces of apple juice, apple cider, cranberry juice, not the stuff, the cocktail with all the sugar and water in it, or all the other things in it. Cranberries. What you're trying to get is the malic acid. You could also, if you're diabetic, you could do malic acid capsules to get the malic acid 6 days before, and you could do apple cider vinegar. Okay, that's other options. There are options available. This book and other books and things on the internet, you can find all the other options you can do if you can't tolerate that much apple juice. It's not that hard. I actually like it. I use apple cider generally when I do it. Organic is better, but frankly, it's awfully expensive, and also non-pasteurized is excellent, but of course you can't really find it anywhere, so you just have to buy the commercially stuff, and that's what worked for me. You may drink more than this, again, 32 ounces per day, if it's comfortable to do so. The malic acid in the apple juice softens the gallstones and makes their passage through the bile ducts smoothly and easily. The apple juice has a strong cleansing effect. Some sensitive people may experience bloating and occasionally diarrhea during the first few days. Much of the diarrhea is actually stagnant bile released by the liver and gallbladder, indicated by the brownish yellow color. Now, I never got any nausea or diarrhea or anything like that from this whole process from beginning to end. Just being honest about what I felt. Your results, as they say, may vary. The fermenting effect of the apple juice helps widen the bile ducts. If this becomes somewhat uncomfortable, you can dilute the apple juice with any amount of water or use other options described later. Drink the apple juice slowly throughout the day between meals. Avoid drinking the juice during or just before and in the first 2 hours after meals and in the evening. This is in addition to your normal water intake of 6 to 8 glasses. No, preferably use organic juice, although for the purpose of the flush, any good brand of commercial apple juice, apple concentrate, or apple cider vinegar works just as well. It may be useful to rinse your mouth out with baking soda and or brush your teeth several times per day to prevent the acid from damaging your teeth. In case you're intolerant to apple juice, okay, I just mentioned that. Okay, during this 6 days beforehand, this is the dietary recommendations, which I also did not really follow, the dietary recommendations to the T, certainly. During the entire week of preparation and cleansing, avoid foods or beverages that are cold or chilled. They chill the liver and thereby reduce the effectiveness of the cleanse. All foods or beverages should be warm or at least at room temperature. To help the liver prepare for the main part of the cleanse, try to avoid foods from animal sources, dairy products, and fried foods. Otherwise, eat normal meals, but avoid overeating. Now, I didn't have any special diet when I did this cleanse, so you know I'm telling you what I did. The best times for cleansing. The main and final part of the liver flush is best done over the weekend. He's making the assumption that the weekend you're off. If you're not off for the weekend, try to schedule it on your day off. If that's not on the new moon, well then fluctuate a couple days. I don't think it's that critical. I have done that. When you are not, to do this on the weekend when you're not under any pressure and have enough time to rest. Although the liver flush is effective any time of the month, try to avoid doing on the full moon day. The body tends to hold more fluids in the brain and tissues on this day than others. The day of the new moon is the most conductive for cleansing and healing. Okay, whether or not that's that important, he says it can be done any time of the day. Maybe avoid it on the full moon, but new moon may be best. That's the opposite of the full moon, of course. If you take any medications while on the liver flush regimen, avoid taking any medications, vitamins, or supplements that are not absolutely necessary. Even supplements tax your body. It is important not to give the liver any extra work that could interfere with its cleansing effects. Next item, make sure you cleanse your colon before and after you do a liver flush. Now, I did one time. It didn't seem to make any difference in my case, but I need to read this part because there's also another part in here where you make some warning. Having regular bowel movements is not necessarily an indication that your bowel is unobstructed. Colon cleansing done either a few days before or ideally on the 6th day of presentation helps to avoid or minimize any discomfort or nausea that may arise during the actual liver flush. It prevents backflushing of the oil mixture or waste products from the intestinal tract into the stomach. It also assists the body in swiftly eliminating the gallstones. Colonic irrigation or colon hydrotherapy is the fastest and easiest method to prepare the colon for the liver flush. Column-board irrigation is the second most preferable method. It's a device you can buy for your home to give you kind of an enema thing. Basically, I'd never had a colon, what they call it, a colonic irrigation, a colonic sometimes it's referred to. I'd never had one until this. I tried one for the very first one I did, and well, I got no stones. And frankly, every time I did it after that, I did not, and it seemed everything worked about the same. The second time I got no stones either, but then the third time I got a lot of stones. I don't believe, in my case anyway, it had anything to do with the colonic. In my case, didn't seem to make me feel any different. It didn't seem to do any change with the liver and gallbladder cleanse. But he thinks it's important, so I'm bringing it to your attention. Okay, on the 6th day, when you're drinking the apple juice, on the 6th day of drinking the apple juice in the morning, you drink all 32 ounces of the apple juice in the morning. You may start drinking the juice soon after awakening. If you feel hungry in the morning, eat a light breakfast, such as hot cereal. Oatmeal would be an ideal choice. Avoid sugar and other sweeteners, spices, milk, butter, eggs, yogurt, cheese, ham. Juices are fine. You also avoid eggs, nuts, pastries, cold cereals, and the like. Fruit or fruit juices are fine. Okay, now that's a lot there. I, again, didn't really do anything different on the day of the cleanse. All right, now maybe I would have got more stones out if I didn't. I don't know. But I didn't feel the nausea or anything else like that. For lunch, eat plain cooked or steamed vegetables with white rice. Flavor it with a little unrefined sea or rock salt. Always use sea salt, folks. Don't use the table salt. Do not eat any protein foods, butter or oil, or you might feel ill during the actual flush. Do not eat or drink anything except water after 1:30 p.m. Otherwise, you may have difficulty passing the stones. Then follow the exact schedule as follows. Now, so here, to sum up so far, drinking a lot of apple juice, eating sensibly. You don't take any medications or except the ones that are absolutely necessary. Then you do your colonic or whatever you can to cleanse your colon beforehand. Drink the last 32 ounces of apple juice right in the morning. Stop eating about 1:30 p.m. You'll go about 20 to 22 hours, I think, not eating during this whole process. Oh, I can hear you now. Oh, I can't do that. I get hungry. Well, die then, okay? That's basically it. If you want to continue the way you're doing, you're making up excuses. It's not real reasons you can't do it, because there are, even if you have certain medical conditions, there's ways you can still do this. So you're just giving excuses so you don't have to go to the trouble to try to improve your health by yourself. All right? Okay, the flush, the actual evening of the flush, this is when the excitement starts. At 6 p.m., so you haven't eaten since 1:30 p.m. The actual flush, 6 p.m., you add 4 tablespoons. Okay, here's where some more description comes in play. Measurements here, write this down. You should have been writing all this down anyway. I'm going fast, I speak fast, I know I do. Add 4 tablespoons of Epsom salts. Let me get the right camera angle here. Should be this one. Yes. 4 tablespoons of Epsom salts to a total of 24 ounces of water, filtered water. So put it in a jar like this is ideal, and shake it up, let it dissolve. So 4 tablespoons with 24 ounces of water. You'll divide this into 4 parts, 4 6-ounce glasses, okay? 6-ounce glass, this is an 8-ounce glass, so you fill it up, about 3/4 of the way roughly, and that's what 6 ounces looks like. As a comparison, I can put this on the camera shot here. This is 8 ounces, this is 4 ounces, okay? So, this makes 4 6-ounce servings. Drink your first portion now. That's 3/4 of a glass. Again, 3/4 of a glass, 6 ounces. That's 1 tablespoon mixed with 6 ounces of water. You know what? If you ever had Epsom salts, doesn't taste like salt. I expected it to. It doesn't taste like salt at all. It tastes like, well, but the best way to describe it is, tastes bad. It's the worst part of the whole thing, drinking the Epsom salts. But you don't have any problem getting it down. It just tastes bad. You rinse your mouth out later. The way he talks about that here. Some people, you may take a few sips of water afterwards to neutralize the bitter taste in your mouth, or you may add a little lemon juice to improve the taste. Some people drink it with a large plastic straw to bypass the taste buds on the tongue. Closing the nostrils while drinking it works well for most people. It is also helpful to brush your teeth afterwards or rinse out the mouth with baking soda. One of the main actions of the Epsom salts is to dilate or widen the bile ducts, making it easy for the stones to pass. Moreover, the salts clear out the waste that may obstruct the release of the stones. If you're allergic to Epsom salts or you're not able to get them down, your second best choice is magnesium citrate at the same dosage. Set out the citrus fruit you will be using later so it can warm to room temperature. So remember, we're going to use grapefruits, and we're going to squeeze it into juice. So we set those out so they won't be cold when you actually need them. Okay, so that's 6 p.m. 6 p.m. you drink your first dose of Epsom salts. Okay, then 8 p.m. you drink another dose of Epsom salts. All right. Now around this time, some people will start having their first bowel movement, and I use the term rather loosely because, well, loosely is the term you'll have. It's extremely loose bowel. It's basically mostly water coming out. You're trying to clean your system out, and that's what we're doing with the Epsom salts. One of the things we're doing. Okay, we're trying to clean out the bowel, get it empty, because you need to make room for all those stones that may follow. You don't want the stones to be blocked in there. So that's what we're doing. So use the term loosely, where we have a very loose stool. All right, so 6 p.m. you drink Epsom salts, then 8 p.m. you drink Epsom salts. Then at 9:30, if you had not had a bowel movement until now and have not done a colon cleanse within the past 24 hours, take a water enema. This will trigger a series of bowel movements. Okay, again, you want to get their system cleared out. Now, with me, my system is slower. I noticed it's about 10:10 is when my bowel movements start happening. So some people have them after their first dose, some people after the second, some have it a little bit longer. I've heard a lot of different stories about when it happens. With me, it's like clockwork around 10:10. All right. So your results may vary, of course. So they're saying to either, if you haven't had the colon cleanse, you need to take an enema at that point at 9:30. Then 9:45. Thoroughly wash the grapefruits, and here's back to the ingredients now. Thoroughly wash the grapefruits. Squeeze them by hand and remove the pulp. You will need 3/4 a glass of juice. So about 3/4 of a glass here. This is 4 ounces, so you'll need 6 ounces. That's that. Let me look again. Did I say right? Yeah, well, okay, 3/4 a glass of juice. Let me go back to the other page here, which explains the sizes here. You need, for the grapefruit, you either need fresh grapefruit, pink is best, or fresh lemon and orange combined. You need enough to squeeze 3/4 of a glass or 6 ounces of juice. I'm a little bit behind you. Let me explain for those of you just joining us on the a little over the half-hour point of the show. My name is Craig. This show is called Forbidden Knowledge. We do the show once a week here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's not live today, but we are doing a show about the liver and gallbladder cleanse. It's very important for everybody to follow this at least. Well, you need to do it on a regular basis. We'll talk about frequency in the future here on this episode. So 3/4 of a glass or 6 ounces of juice. So 3/4 of a glass, 6 ounces of group juice. Now I find that's usually 1 big juicy grapefruit or 2 smaller drier ones is what you'll need to buy, okay, to get 6 ounces of juice out of that grapefruit. Okay, back to find the page again. Okay, so pour the juice and half a glass of olive oil. Now again, they refer to the glasses of olive oil, but the glass is 8 ounces. So for olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed, 1/2 glass or 4 ounces. Now that is 4 ounces. This little cup here is 4 ounces. So you have 6 ounces in the big glass, and then you have 4 ounces that you pour in with, so you'll have 10 ounces total, and it won't fit in this glass, by the way. You put it in something like this, and you're going to shake it up real good because they don't really mix, as you can imagine. Pour the juice and half glass of olive oil into the pint jar. Close the jar tightly and shake hard about 20 times until the solution is watery. Ideally, you should drink this mixture at 10 p.m. But if you still feel the need to visit the bathroom a few more times, you may delay this step for up to 10 minutes. Okay, this is interesting now. This is where the excitement starts, other than having to go to the bathroom already now once or twice. Okay, 10 p.m. Stand next to your bed. Do not sit down. Stand next to your bed, very specific, and drink the concoction, if possible, without interruption. I can do it. It actually tastes better than the Epsom salts, folks. It tastes okay. It's kind of strange tasting, but I can drink it down in one swoop, and that's what you try to do. That's what you're aiming for. Some people prefer to drink it through a large plastic straw. Drinking it while keeping the nostril closed seems to work best. If necessary, use a little honey between sips, which helps the mixture go down more smoothly. Most people, though, have no problem drinking it in one go. Do not take more than 5 minutes for this step. Only elderly or weak people may take longer. Now with me, since I have my first bowel movement about 10:10, I usually have to wait till that point is what I do, because what you want to do next, after you drink that, is lie down immediately. And I mean lie down on your back with your head propped up. This is essential for helping the release of gallstones. Turn off the lights and lie flat on your back with 1 or 2 pillows propping your head up. Your head should be higher than your abdomen. If this is uncomfortable, lie on your right side with your knees pulled forward towards your head. Lie perfectly still for at least 20 minutes and don't speak. Put your attention on your liver. Some people find it beneficial to place a castor oil pack over the liver area. You may feel the stones traveling, and now this is something that is when you're laying there, you can start feeling things happen. You might hear some noises, of course, and feel things happening, but it's not painful. So for those of you who are looking for more excuses why you can't do this, it doesn't have any pain involved, all right? There won't be any spasms or pain because the magnesium in the Epsom salts keeps the bile ducts valves wide open and relaxed. The bile is secreted along with the stones, keeps the bile ducts well lubricated. This is a very different case in the case of a gallstone attack where magnesium and bile are not present. Then go to sleep if you can. So to summarize the procedure, for those of you just joining us, drinking lots of apple juice or apple cider, or let me see which button I need. I need button 4. Apple cider, you drink for 6 days beforehand. Even the day of the cleanse, you have Epsom salts twice. Then you do a mixture of the olive oil and the grapefruit juice. Then you lie down right away and go to sleep. Okay? That's that day. Now the next morning at 6 a.m., 6 to 6:30, upon awakening, but not before 6 a.m., drink your 3rd glass of Epsom salts. Now again, that's 1 ounce of Epsom salts mixed with 6 ounces of water. Drink that. Then rest, read, or meditate. If you are sleepy, you may go back to bed, although as best of the body stays in an upright position. Most people feel fine and prefer to do some light exercises such as yoga. Then at 8, between 8 and 8:30, drink your 4th and last glass of Epsom salts. Remember, we had a total of 4 tablespoons mixed with 24 ounces of water, and so you split that 4 ways, and now you've drank the total of 24 ounces of water with 4 tablespoons of Epsom salt. And then, for me, now, most of the rest of the day, you're near the bathroom, okay? You can do this if you work, as long as you're near a bathroom. It's not a big deal on this particular day, other than having full access to a bathroom. Sometimes you go and then you're back in there a minute or 2 later. Sometimes that has happened, okay? So you got to have access to a bathroom. It's best if you're not under a lot of physical activity, as he said. But I've done it when I had other things to do. Okay. During this process, you can drink water whenever you are thirsty, except right after drinking the Epsom salts, and for the first 2 hours after drinking the oil mixture. Okay, the results you can expect. Other than eventually helping your body with all the things we mentioned earlier in the program, during the morning hours, perhaps afternoon hours, following liver flush, you will have a number of watery bowel movements. These initially consist of gallstones mixed with food residue, the first to come out, all right? And then just stones mixed with water. Most of the gallstones are pea green and float in the toilet because they contain bile compounds and may be bright colored and shiny like gemstones. Only bile from the liver can cause this green color. Let me explain a little bit and a little sensitively, if I can, what I saw. This sometimes helps if I just get away from the book a little bit. If I were to put all my stones, like I say, I got about 400 stones out of me so far after 11 flushes. First 2 times nothing, so 9 of them I had so far. I'm waiting to get 2 more flushes where I get no stones, but so far I'm still getting stones. There was one time I only got about 10, and I thought maybe I was just about done, but nope, next time there was about 50 more of them. If I were to put all my stones in this glass, it would fill the glass probably a little over halfway. Yeah, if you were to put them in your hand, cup your hand, you'd pretty much fill up your hand. That's how many stones I got out of me. Now the size of these stones, most of them are green, by the way. Those are coming from the liver. Probably 95% of mine were green. The heavy ones and multicolored ones that we're going to talk about in the books, they sink, and they're heavier. There's calcified stones, and they're from the gallbladder generally. The lighter ones float, and they're green colored. Size, well, most of them are smaller than a kernel of corn. Okay, about that size. Between a grain of rice and a kernel of corn, somewhere in that size range. I'm using food analogies here, but I'm trying to get something of the size range that I'm doing. I've had them come out of me as large as grapes. Yeah, your supermarket size grapes. Some people have them as big as golf balls come out of them. We're showing some pictures maybe here right now. Actually pretty big stones come out. So it's amazing how, and actually probably including the big ones, it probably almost fill this whole glass. Coming from mainly your liver and gallbladder, okay? Gallbladder too. Gallbladder is fairly easy to expel the stones out of the gallbladder. The liver takes longer, and we'll explain why here as we go. So that's about what you can expect. Some of them are white, some of them are tan colored, some are black. Mostly green shades of green. Only bile from the liver can cause this green color. Gallstones come in many sizes, colors, and shapes. The light colored stones are the newest. Dark green stones are the oldest. Some are pea-sized or smaller, and others are as big as 1 inch in diameter. There may be dozens and even hundreds of stones of different sizes and colors coming out all at once. Also watch for tan-colored and white stones. Some of the larger tan or white stones may sink to the bottom of the toilet. These are calcified gallstones that have been released from the gallbladder. They contain heavier toxic substances with only small amounts of cholesterol. All the green and yellowish stones are soft as putty thanks to the action of the apple juice. You also may find a layer of white or tan-colored chaff or foam floating on in the toilet. Foam consists of millions of tiny, sharp-edged cholesterol crystals, which can easily rupture a small bile duct. They are equally important to release. Try to make a rough estimate how many stones you have eliminated to permanently cure bursitis, back pain, allergies, or other health problems, and to prevent diseases from arising. You need to remove all the stones. This may require at least 8 to 12 flushes, which can be performed at 3-week or monthly intervals. Do not flush more frequently than that. The 3-week break between flushes may include the 6-day preparation for the next liver flush, but most ideally it should start after the 3 weeks have passed. If you cannot flush this often, you may take more time between flushes. The important thing to remember is that once you have started cleansing the liver, you should keep cleansing until no more stones come out during 2 consecutive flushes. Leaving the liver half clean for a long period of time, say 3 or 4 months, may cause greater discomfort than not cleansing at all. The liver as a whole will begin to function more efficiently soon after the first flush, and you may notice sudden improvements. Soon after the first flush, you may notice sudden improvements, sometimes within several hours. Pains will lessen, energy will increase, and clarity of mind will improve considerably. However, within a few days, stones from the rear of the liver will have traveled forward toward the 2 main bile ducts in the liver, which may cause some or all of the previous symptoms of discomfort to return. In fact, you might feel disappointed because the recovery seems so short-lived. Yet all of this merely indicates the stones that were left behind, there were stones left behind, ready to be removed with the next round of cleansing. Nevertheless, the liver's self-repair and cleansing responses will have increased significantly, adding a great deal of effectiveness to this extremely important organ of the body. So what they're saying here is, in the liver has all these thousands of little tiny channels in it. We've eliminated the ones that were basically in the larger ducts and up front. Now, all the smaller ones in these thousands of channels, or the other ones that may not be smaller, start migrating into those ducts, and again are waiting to be removed again. So the following month or following 3 weeks later, whatever, you do another cleanse, and it continues to repeat. So it flushes them out and so on until your entire liver is clear. Now remember, I had 400 come out of me, but most people have thousands. And I would bet to say that any one of you have at least hundreds in your body. As long as there are still a few small stones traveling from some of the thousands of small bile ducts to any of the hundreds of larger bile ducts, they may combine to form larger stones and produce previously experienced symptoms such as backache, headache, earache, digestive trouble, bloating, irritability, anger, and so forth, although these may be less severe than they were before. If 2 consecutive new cleanses no longer produce any stones, which may happen after 6 to 8 flushes, in severe cases it may take 10 to 12 or more. I've had 9 so far where I've had stones come out. Your liver can be considered stone-free. Nevertheless, it is recommended that you repeat the liver flush every 6 to 8 months. Each flush will give a further boost to the liver and take care of any toxins or new stones that may have accumulated in the meantime. Caution: never cleanse when you are suffering an acute illness, even if it is just a simple cold. If you suffer from a chronic illness, However, cleansing your liver may be the best thing you can do for yourself. The liver flush is one of the most invaluable and effective methods to regain your health. Before I read this part, I would like to go to Hulda Clark's version for a minute, as long as my time is okay. To put this in a little more different perspective, sometimes it helps. For many persons, including children, the biliary tubing is choked with gallstones. Some develop allergies or hives but have no symptoms. When the gallbladder is scanned or x-rayed, nothing is seen. Typically, they are not in the gallbladder. Not only that, most are too small and not calcified, a prerequisite for visibility on x-ray. So the ones that people have had x-rays for and they find their gallbladder cleansed, and shame on you for removing your gallbladder, and shame on your doctor, your criminal doctor for removing your gallbladder, unless there was some absolutely other medical reason. Just because they have stones in it, well, I'm showing you a simple method. You can remove the stones by yourself without your doctor's help, although consult your doctor as you got to be careful here because the FDA might be watching this. You have to consult your doctor, of course, but you can do this without your doctor. For those of you who don't have national health care, okay, so they have to be calcified in order to be seen on X-ray. So you still might have gallstones in you. Well, you do have gallstones in you. It's just that maybe they aren't calcified yet. So the very first thing you would do, if the doctor's telling you need to remove your gallbladder, start on these cleanses right away. Everybody should, in fact, any cleanse, any type of disease you have whatsoever, if you aren't digesting your food properly, you're going to cause all kinds of problems in the body, and you're not going to be getting the nutrients your body needs. So it's very important to keep the digestive system clean, the colon cleanse periodically. Again, that's a different show. We're talking about liver and gallbladder right now. Colon cleanse periodically, liver and gallbladder cleanse to get all the stones out. Kidneys cleanse to make sure those kidney stones don't build up too much and start becoming painful when they're expelled. And parasite cleanse. Those are all very important. So before you do any type of major surgery like that or some other kind of acute condition, these are the first things you should try. They're easy to do. They take a little bit of effort, but they're still in this, and they're very cheap. You can do them yourself. Everybody ought to have this done before you do any other major work or you have any other symptoms that you can't seem to get rid of or your doctor doesn't know what your problem is. Makes sense, doesn't it? Does your insurance company pay for that? No. Why would you want insurance to pay for that? Does your doctor tell you about this? No. Does the TV tell you about this? No. You have to study these things on your own and find out what the truth is, folks. There are over half a dozen varieties of gallstones, most which have cholesterol crystals in them. They can be black, red, white, green, or tan colored. The green ones get their color from being coated with bile. We can visualize other stones are composites made of many smaller ones, showing that they regrouped in the bile ducts sometime after the last cleanse. At the very center of each stone is found a clump of bacteria, according to scientists, suggesting that a dead bit of parasite might have started these stones forming. Now again, Dr. Hulda Clark's method suggests you use a parasite cleanse consisting of things such as this before you do the liver and gallbladder cleanse, which I did not do. I did not do that part of it. I have done parasite cleanses before. The last one I did was almost more than a year ago. So I did a parasite cleanse, but it wasn't right before this liver and gallbladder cleanse. And actually, I'm a year before my liver and gallbladder cleanse. So it's been about 2 years now since I have done a parasite cleanse, although I'm in the process of doing one right now. And notice how I'm not lying in bed or hidden up in my home. You can do these things and still function in daily life, folks. So if that was another one of your excuses, get that out of your head too. It's not a real reason. Okay, as the stones grow and become more numerous, the back pressure in the liver causes it to make less bile. It is also thought to slow the flow of lymphatic. Imagine a situation if your garden hose had marbles in it. Much less water would flow, which in turn would decrease the ability of the hose to squirt out the marbles. With gallstones, much less cholesterol leaves the body, and cholesterol levels may rise. Gallstones being porous can pick up all the bacteria, cysts, and viruses and parasites that are passing through the liver. But no, don't believe this. Don't believe anything I'm saying. They have drugs you can take to lower your cholesterol. Don't worry about this. Your insurance company will pay for it. There's only some side effects. In this way, nests of infections are formed, forever supplying the body with fresh bacteria and parasite stages. No stomach infections such as ulcers or intestinal bloating can be cured permanently without removing these gallstones from the liver. For best results, ozonate the olive oil in this recipe to kill any parasite stages or viruses that may be released during the cleanse. I did not use an ozonator, although I do have an ozonator. I did not use it when I did the olive oil. I'm just to tell you what I did. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it didn't seem necessary in my case. She also recommends the use of ornithine, and the ornithine comes in, let's see where the ornithine comes in. Ozonate for 20 minutes. Their method is, I'm going to go over the method here really briefly. Half a cup of olive oil. Light olive oil is easier to get down, and for best results, ozonate it for 20 minutes. Add 2 drops of HCI, pink grapefruit, 1 large or 2 small, enough to squeeze 2/3 cup of juice. Hot wash twice first and dry each time. Ornithine, 4 to 8 to make sure you can sleep. Don't skip this step or you may have the worst night of your life. I didn't take ornithine and I slept fine. In fact, just laying there, just fall asleep naturally if you're tired enough. You need a large plastic straw to help drink the potion. Pint jar with a lid, black walnut tincture, any strength, and this part for the parasite cleanse they were talking about. You take 10 to 20 drops, kill off parasites coming from the liver. Again, I did not do the parasite cleanse, but there's lots of different methods. Here is some of, whoops, wrong button. Here is some of the things you could take. If you want to try a parasite cleanse, do an internet search, if you will, please. Here are some of the other things you could take, except I need to go the other way on the camera. I don't have a camera angle put in there. These are some of the other types of things you could take, usually consisting of wormwoods or cloves or something of that nature. These are the things you could do for a parasite cleanse, but this show is not about parasite cleanses right now. And then they talk about you don't eat after 2. It's a very similar method, okay? A very similar method. So check that out. Okay, let's continue on with some more in the book. I got about 6 minutes left or so. As long as okay, I think I did that. Yes. Okay, next part, it says important, big letters, important. Please read carefully, it says. The liver flush is one of the most invaluable and effective methods to regain your health. There are no risks involved if you follow all the directions to the letter. Again, I didn't follow all the directions to the letter. I did most of the things, but I didn't follow them to the letter. Please take the next cautionary note very seriously. There are many people who have used the liver flush recipe and they have received from friends or through the internet, and they suffered unnecessary complications. They do not have complete knowledge of the procedure and the way it works, believing that just expelling the stones from the liver and gallbladder was sufficient. It is likely that on their way out, some gallstones will be caught in the colon. They can quickly be removed through colonic irrigation. This should ideally be done on the 2nd or 3rd day after the liver flush. If gallstones remain in the colon, they can cause irritation, infection, headaches, abdominal discomfort, thyroid problems, and so on. These stones can eventually become a source of toxemia in the body. If colonics are not available where you live, you can take a coffee enema followed by a water enema. Or else, do 2 to 3 consecutive water enemas. Still, this may not guarantee that all the remaining stones will be removed. There is no real substitute for a colonic irrigation when it comes to liver flushing. Doing a colonic board enema is the closest you can attain to a professional colonic. If you settle for anything less than a colonic irrigation or coloma enema, mix 1 level teaspoon of Epsom salts with 1 glass of warm water and drink it first thing in the morning on the day of any other chosen colon cleanse following the liver flush. Okay, again, I did not do, the very first time I did colonic, and I don't believe it made any difference in my case. The importance of colon and kidney cleansing. Although the liver flush on its own can produce truly amazing results, it should ideally be done following a colon and kidney cleanse. Cleansing the colon ensures that the expelled gallstones are easily removed from the large intestine. Cleansing the kidneys makes certain that toxins coming out of the liver during the flush do not put any burden on these vital organs of elimination. However, if you have never had kidney trouble, kidney stones, or bladder infection, you may go ahead with the colon cleanse, liver flush, then again colon cleanse sequence. And again, I did not do the liver flush or the kidney flush either yet. Okay, I've never had kidney problems or bladder problems or stones. Well, stones big enough to cause any pain or discomfort that I even know I passed them. So, but I will be doing one of those soon, and maybe we'll do a show about that in the future. You should also do a kidney cleanse sometime after the first 2 to 4 liver flushes, and again, after your liver has been completely cleaned out. And then he talks about what's in the recipe for the kidney flush. We won't get into that right now. Those whose colon is severely congested or who have a history of constipation should consider doing at least 2 to 3 colon cleanses before their first liver flush. Moreover, to reemphasize, it's very important that you cleanse your colon within 3 days of completing each liver flush. Removing gallstones from the liver and gallbladder may leave some of the stones and other toxic residues in the colon. It is essential for your health to clear them out. You may reiterate, you may drink water at any time during the liver cleanse except right after the first dose, right after and before taking the Epsom salts. Allow about 20 minutes. Also avoid drinking water from 9:30 p.m. until 2 a.m. if you happen to wake. Apart from that, you can drink water whenever you are thirsty. Okay, that pretty much completes the liver and gallbladder cleanse. I have a few minutes left. This method has been used by many hundreds of people, many thousands of people, I'm sure. I have seen dozens of people in one of the meetings I go to use this particular method of cleanse and has been very effective. I hear very similar stories to mine. Some people get stones out immediately, the first time they get 50 or 100 stones. Other people, it takes a little longer. It took me 2 whole times before I got any. So keep up with it. You do have stones. You do have stones. Believe me, you have stones. And then also in here and on the internet, I'm sure you can find all kinds of information for substitutes if for some reason you can't tolerate any of these things, which is all you need for the liver and gallbladder cleanse. If you can't tolerate some of these things, you should be able to find substitutions for any of these, either your health food store or your grocery store. So I believe I've covered just about everything I need to do, but I have a couple more minutes to fill. We will do a show someday about the kidney flush. Someday we'll do one about the colon cleanse probably, and that probably should have been the first one I did. But I got pretty excited, and a lot of people were very interested in this topic. I needed to also put this on a DVD to make for my clients because instead of sitting there for an hour trying to tell them about this cleanse and they were not going to remember anyway and they start writing down, and you really need to review this many times before you get it right. You really need to get the books and examine the books and other information on the internet is what you really need to do. But I needed a DVD to give somebody so I don't have to sit there and destroy my voice more by going over it after I just spent 45 minutes doing a cardiovascular screening. Now they want an hour-long lecture about a liver and gallbladder flush, and I'm not going to do it. So I put this on DVD, and probably if you're watching this on the internet, well, I can go ahead and end the show now anyway to let you know you've been watching a show called Forbidden Knowledge. My name is Craig. I do the show once a week. It's an hour long every week, new show every week, at least for the last 2.5 years, more than 2.5 years now. This was episode number 120.